But I was going into Tosche Station to pick up some power converters.
That was a great episode. That was a pretty damn good episode. Overall, I think this is a better episode than episode 1. I don't think it's as good as episode 2, though. And I think going forward, I don't know how many more flashbacks we're going to get. Because we saw him have trouble with the Pikes for, like, the transport in the flashback. And then all the Tuskens were killed by that biker gang, who is the rival, who was the other people paying for Pike protection, or Pikes were paying for their protection through the Dune Sea. So I think we'll get I think we'll still keep on getting flashbacks throughout, like, through maybe episode 7 or something like that. But they will be shorter, more like this episode. And that fight with Black Chrysanthemum and him, that was great. But let's rank this episode. Yeah, the Streets of Mos Espa. I'm going to give that like a solid 8.2. I think this episode was really solid. I think it really kind of condensed all, like, if this episode did go 10 minutes longer, it would have been harder to like it, I think. So I think it is good that it's as short as the first episode, but it's definitely better. It's not as slow. Introduces a biker gang that basically drives around speeder Vespas. Introduced the Pikes being the claim to the territory, who the mayor gave to, realistically. So then the Hutts are gone. Black Chrysanthemum tried to assassinate Boba Fett. And then Boba Fett actually let Black Chrysanthemum go. I wish he kept Black Chrysanthemum around, and then he showed up more throughout this series. I think that would have been cool. But I think they kind of showed Black Chrysanthemum and then let him go, just so that Black Chrysanthemum can be used in other media forms, like comic books, and stuff like that. So I can see why they kind of introduced him as like, hey, look at this badass, and then kind of like let him go. It was very much a Mandalorian Season 2 type cameo. But yeah, I thought this episode was really good. The elimination of the Tusken Raider camp was a shock to me. I was surprised that they got rid of the Tuskens already. So it's going to be like him lone wolfing in the flashbacks until he finds Mos Pelgo with Cobb Vanth and then Mando leaving with the armor. I'm assuming that's going to be the case. But yeah, there's going to be a war they're talking about. So I'm assuming it's going to be Boba Fett versus the Pikes. And Boba Fett got a Rancor this episode. He's going to try to learn how to ride it. So he's going to potentially be riding a Rancor by the end of the season. That's crazy. Like, I did not like that picture is so like fan servicey, but I mean it makes sense. Dathomirian witches rode them into battle on Dathomir. Why wouldn't he ride a Rancor if he has the possibility to? Especially with how just deadly a Rancor is. But I'm assuming the Rancor is not Muchi. I don't think this is Muchi though, because Danny Trejo's in this now. That's pretty amazing. But Danny Trejo said that he picked him up to save him. No, he was bred by like fighters, and then he was going to raise him to do the same, it sounds like. But now he's under the protection and ownership of Boba. But the way Danny Trejo like said, like, don't worry, you'll see him again. And like the eyes, I want to believe that Boba Fett does have ownership over this Rancor, and the Rancor does bond with Boba Fett, because it'd just be so cool to see him run around with a Rancor. But the way he said that just made it sound like a little sinister, so I don't know if maybe the Hutts sent Danny Trejo and the Rancor to then like try to kill Boba secretively, and then just like, oh, the Rancor just ate him. Or if maybe the Pikes sent him, or maybe the mayor sent Trejo with the Rancor. I don't know, but I'm kind of suspicious of the Rancor and Danny Trejo. But yeah, I think that was a very solid episode. Not as good as the last episode. Last episode was But this episode was really good. Definitely better than the first. I still can't get over like that biker gang that Boba Fett hired. They they look like they're from Back to the Future too. I don't know why I'm getting that picture. I just am. But honestly, I think that's about it. There's not a whole lot to go through in this episode. It's pretty straightforward. The information we did learn at the very beginning about after Jabba died, the Bib Fortuna took over, and then there was like 3 different families or factions that controlled Mos Espa. There was Trandoshans, there was a couple others. I think he said the Trandoshans controlled the center. I don't remember exactly, but then there was 2 other factions that controlled the like outer area and then the spaceport. So that's really cool to have like separate families controlling separate sections of Mos Espa. And it's also that also kind of plays into the reason maybe why we saw so many Trandoshans in the last episode. But yeah, that was a very solid episode, and I mean after next week's episode we're halfway through the season, which is kind of crazy. But I think the way this is going, I think the next episode is going to really ramp up. I heard 5, 6, and 7 are crazy, and I think Boba Fett. I think Tamora Morrison hinted at a gunship or something like that. So I could just imagine like people on a gunship firing down at Boba Fett on a Rancor chasing him. My mind's going crazy right now. But either way, I think the next 4 episodes are going. I think next episode's going to really ramp up into episode 5, and then 5, 6, and 7 are going to be bonkers. And if not, and if it's just solid, I'm still fine with that. Every single episode so far has been 7.7 and above for me. And a lot of people didn't even like the first episode, and I thought it was really good. I almost gave it an 8. I am curious if this leads into a season 2. I don't know if they confirmed that yet. But if this does lead into a season 2, or if this is kind of like a one and done thing, what Boba Fett then leads into. Because Mandalorian season 2 kind of led into this. And maybe there's going to be a Mando season 3. But I wonder if Boba Fett leads into something else. Maybe like a Cad Bane series. Or, I don't know, some other like crime syndicate series like Kira. Like a series about her that this leads into. I'm not sure. But I think this could lead into some very interesting like underworld series. Or even just back to Mando. Either way, Boba Fett has been really fleshed out as a character, and people might still be like, oh, they're not giving him the respect, he needs to be more badass. Well, if he just goes out and killing everyone, he's going to get assassins sent at him, like Black Chrysanthemum. So, there's not really much he can do, and he wants to rule with respect, which is what seemingly he learned from the Tuscans, maybe. I see a few 9s in the future for this series. I think that's all I have. I want to thank you for watching. Thank you for watching the reaction and the review if you did. If not, I'm separating the reactions and the reviews into separate videos, so then people who maybe want to just see the reaction can watch that video, and then who want to just see what I think of the episode can see that as well. And also it makes the videos shorter and people need to commit less time, because it's not like I'm a big channel or anything that people will just watch 2-hour videos or podcasts for. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this, please like it and consider subscribing. As I mentioned before, the more likes and views and subs I get from this, the more reason I have to actually create content for this channel. So if you do enjoy it, please like, give me a subscribe, comment below what you think of this episode as well. I thought it was really good, but I might be in the minority, or there might be people in the minority who did not enjoy this episode all too much. But I'll see. I'll have to check out what some people think, and that's all I got. Thanks again for watching, and may the Force be with you.